Hey everyone, welcome back.
Today's episode is a little personal for me.
Personal? Okay, now I need to know.
Last week, someone stopped me on the street and asked me for directions in English,
And?
and my brain just stopped. Completely empty. I speak English every single day, and for 3 seconds, I couldn't remember a single word.
Oh, I know that feeling very well.
Right? So today, we're talking about that exact moment, the freeze.
The moment when someone suddenly speaks English to you and your mind just goes blank.
If that's ever happened to you, you're going to feel so much better after this episode.
Because it's not just you, it happens to almost everyone.
Even people who are really good at English.
Especially people who are really good at English, actually.
Okay, let's get into it.
So here's the thing. When this happens to people, they usually think, my English isn't good enough.
Right, that's the first thought. I don't know enough words.
But that's usually not true at all.
No, it's not about vocabulary.
It's about pressure, sudden pressure.
Say more about that.
Okay, think about it. If I give you time to prepare, like, hey, we're going to talk about your weekend later, you're totally fine.
Sure, I can think about what to say.
But if someone just walks up to you and starts talking, there's no preparation time. Your brain has to translate, think, and speak all at once.
And under pressure, that system just crashes for a second.
Exactly. It's not a language problem, it's a pressure problem.
That actually makes me feel a lot better.
It should.
Okay, tell me your freeze story. You said you know this feeling well.
Oh, this one still makes me a little embarrassed.
Good. I love embarrassing stories.
So, years ago, I was going through customs at an airport, and the officer looked at my passport and just said, "What's the purpose of your visit?"
Simple question.
Extremely simple question. I've answered it 100 times.
And?
And I just stood there, completely silent. My brain went, "Purpose? Purpose? What does purpose mean?"
But you know that word.
Of course I know that word. I just couldn't find it in that moment.
So what happened?
The officer just waited, looked at me, and after like 5 seconds, which felt like 5 hours, I finally said, "Vacation. Sorry, vacation."
5 seconds isn't even that long.
It felt like an eternity. My heart was racing. My face was probably bright red.
That's the freeze right there.
That's exactly it. And notice something. It wasn't a hard question. It wasn't advanced vocabulary.
It was just sudden.
Sudden, and there was pressure because he was an official and people were waiting behind me.
So the pressure caused the freeze, not the English.
100%. Okay, your turn. Besides the street directions thing, is there another one?
Oh, phone calls are my personal nightmare.
Why phone calls specifically?
Because you can't see the person's face. You can't read their expression. You're just listening to a voice.
That's true. Phone calls remove a lot of the normal context.
So one time, a delivery driver called me, and he was speaking really fast, asking about my address.
Oh, no.
And I just said, sorry, I sounded like I forgot how to speak completely.
We've all been there.
The worst part is, after I hung up, I remembered every single word I needed. Perfectly.
That's so common. The words come back the second the pressure disappears.
Exactly. Like my brain needed the call to end before it could relax enough to think.
That tells you everything, right? It's not that you don't know English.
It's that stress temporarily blocks access to what I already know.
That's a really good way to put it.
Okay, so let's talk a little about why this actually happens in our brains.
Right, because there's real psychology behind this. It's not just bad luck.
So when we feel sudden pressure, our brain sort of shifts into, let's call it, emergency mode.
Like a survival response.
Exactly. And in emergency mode, the brain focuses on immediate safety, not on complex thinking like language.
So, ironically, the more nervous you feel, the harder it becomes to think clearly.
Which creates this cycle. You feel nervous, you freeze, and then you feel embarrassed about freezing.
And that embarrassment makes you even more nervous next time.
It's a loop.
But here's the good news. Once you understand the loop, you can break it.
How?
By having a plan, something you can say automatically without thinking the moment you feel that panic starting.
Okay, I like where this is going.
So here's the secret that changed everything for me. You don't need to answer instantly.
You're allowed to buy yourself a few seconds.
Exactly. Native speakers do this constantly, by the way. It's completely natural.
Give me an example.
Okay, so instead of freezing in silence, you could say, let me think about that for a second.
Oh, that's such a simple sentence.
It is, and it sounds completely natural. It doesn't sound like you're struggling.
What else?
Sorry, could you say that again? That one is incredibly useful.
That buys you time and gives you more information at the same time.
Exactly, because sometimes you didn't even hear the question clearly. It's not always about vocabulary.
True. What about when someone asks something and you just need a second to organize your thoughts?
You can say, "That's a good question, actually."
Even if it's not that good of a question?
Especially then, it gives you 2 or 3 seconds while sounding thoughtful instead of confused.
I also like just saying, okay, so it gives your brain a tiny runway before you actually start speaking.
That's a great one. Small words like that create space.
So the goal isn't to never freeze.
No, the goal is to have a response ready for when you do freeze.
Okay, let's actually practice this. I'll surprise you with a question right now.
Wait, right now?
Right now. No preparation.
Okay, go ahead.
Speaker 1, what's the most useful thing you've ever bought?
Let me think about that for a second.
See? That sounded completely natural.
Right? I genuinely needed a second, but it didn't sound like I was panicking.
Perfect example. Okay, my turn.
All right. Speaker 2, if you could live in any city in the world, where would you go?
Oh, sorry, could you say that again? I got distracted for a second.
Nice. Very smooth.
Honestly, it works even when you're not distracted. It's a safety phrase.
It really is. And notice, neither of us stood there in silence.
We used a tool instead of freezing.
That's the whole idea. Small phrases, big confidence.
Can I say something important here?
Of course.
Freezing doesn't mean you're bad at English.
No, it really doesn't.
I've met native speakers who freeze in their own language when they're nervous. Job interviews, public speaking.
Totally true. I've frozen answering questions in my own native language before.
So this isn't an English problem, it's a human nervous system problem.
And once you accept that, the fear becomes so much smaller.
Because you stop thinking, I'm not good enough.
And you start thinking, oh, this is just my brain reacting to sudden pressure. Totally normal.
And normal things don't need to be scary.
Exactly. That mindset shift alone makes a huge difference. Okay, let's recap what we talked about today.
First, freezing happens because of sudden pressure, not because your English is bad.
Second, even confident, fluent speakers freeze sometimes. It's completely normal.
Third, you can buy yourself time with simple phrases.
Let me think for a second.
Sorry, could you say that again?
That's a good question, actually.
And finally, the goal isn't to never freeze. It's to have a plan for when it happens.
Because a small pause with a natural phrase sounds completely different from silent panic.
One feels confident, the other feels stressful.
And now you know exactly how to choose the confident version.
Okay, we want to hear from you now.
Tell us in the comments, what's your best freeze story?
The moment your brain just went blank, and what happened next?
We shared ours. It's your turn to share yours.
And if this episode helped you feel a little less alone with this, that makes us really happy.
Because every single person listening right now has felt this at some point.
You are definitely not alone.
Warmly, thanks so much for listening today.
We'll see you in the next episode.
Take care and don't be afraid to freeze once in a while.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.